What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to focus more on the technical aspect of the market and break down how this could actually help Tesla going forward. Now, I know that the data that's coming out is going to play a huge role in how Tesla moves, the big report that's coming out, but from a technical standpoint, we actually see that there is potential for the market to actually pop next week, and this might actually help Tesla. Now, if Tesla does end up popping off the big report that comes out, it's very likely that it's not just going to pop a little bit. We're going to see a big move to the upside and a potential squeeze if things go as planned. But I want to talk about the overall market because the overall market could give Tesla an even bigger edge, even more potential to squeeze even harder. I'm going to break down exactly why, what the technicals show us on SPY, and how this actually relates to Tesla as I do a comparative analysis. Now, before I break anything down though, before I get into any details, let me briefly say a couple of things. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is any could be that free Tesla share. So please check it out before they run out. The offer ends today. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So when it comes to Tesla, how it moves will depend on deliveries. However, if this thing does end up getting a pump because of deliveries and the production report that comes out from an annual basis, it's very likely if Tesla does start pushing up, it's not just going to push up a little bit. This thing might actually squeeze. We might see a big move to the upside, and the overall market might actually help it move up even harder. So, from a technical standpoint, this is resembling an inverse head and shoulders like formation. Obviously, the data is going to be very important. If it goes as planned, if Tesla does very decently or even well, and Tesla does manage to actually push up, right? Because you have to remember that it's not just about Tesla meeting expectations. It's also about how Tesla performs. Did Tesla show insane growth? Because let's just say they give us like a 45% increase on deliveries year over year, and they give us like a 49% increase production year over year, for example, right? They're not going to meet 50%, but they're going to come very close to it. They're still going to show lots of strength, lots of incredible growth. It could still pump off news like that, right? If the headlines show a huge increase, that could also help the stock. Now, if that's the case, if Tesla does start pumping, here are some things you have to remember that are super, super important given the context in this market. So, if we look at the price comparison between Tesla and the SPY, remember that Tesla was tracking SPY almost perfectly for the first 6 months of this year. But then SPY crashed even harder during the big June drop after we had relatively high CPI and a much more hawkish Fed. And then Tesla continued to track SPY pretty closely until around the month of November. That's where Tesla started underperforming. We got this crossover right here. And then Tesla was still holding up okay from a lot of November relative to SPY. It wasn't until December when we started getting hit with Elon Musk selling and Elon Musk, all this like trauma that really came to Tesla's share price because of the negative news that was coming out with the whole Twitter fiasco and all the negative news. Tesla really underperformed in the month of December. However, even though we saw Tesla underperform like this, I want to note that 90% of this year, Tesla was tracking the overall market. When the market had these big pumps up, Tesla tended to pump up with it. When the market was coming down, Tesla tended to come down with it. So the market still can affect Tesla big time, especially when Tesla is this oversold and is trying to bounce. The price price ratio is showing us it wants to bounce, it wants to start pushing up. And if we do get the pump to the upside, the market could help us. Now, it's also important to note that, let me see, the overall short interest is relatively high on Tesla. So This means Tesla has some squeeze potential that could help it push up, but the overall market could even help it push up even more. And I'm going to show you exactly why. Tesla's starting to outperform the market. Tesla was obviously green. SPY was a little red when it closed, but SPY actually had a really nice pump near the end of the day on Friday, showing lots of strength compared to before. Now, if the market starts pumping, the squeeze potential in Tesla could also help it squeeze up even more, but also the act of more buyers coming in and starting to pump up these indexes, these ETFs, the buying pressure, the FOMO that could come could help Tesla squeeze even higher than expected. And I'm going to show you exactly why. So, why on earth would SPY start pushing up next week? Why on earth do the charts suggest this? Let me show you exactly why. When you look at this from a technical standpoint, we have this falling wedge like pattern that formed on SPY. All right. And SPY actually formed a divergence right about here. This was between the 19th and 22nd of December. Notice how on the MACD we have this very, very big divergence that formed relative to the price action, making that new low. This is often an indication that this may have been a temporary bottom on SPY, that 374 area. And after that, we did start to respect a bit of an uptrend. And this is actually resembling an Elliott wave perspective. You could even draw this out because you have to remember the market does not crash in a straight line. The market actually tends to make these moves like this. So we had our 1 and our 2. This right here would be the 3. And between the 3 to 5, this is where this big divergence formed, forming a potential temporary bottom if we are looking at this from an impulse wave, Elliott wave perspective. Now, what happened after this? We formed an AB pattern, and then we now have the potential to form another pattern, right? We had our 1 that potentially formed here after we bounced off this trend line. The 2 was the retracement. The 3 tends to be the bigger move to the upside to start off 2023. The market might pump quite a bit. We could see a move like this. We have a 4 where the market comes down for a day or two, followed by the 5 being the final top, which I believe is going to be around maybe 390, maybe a little higher. Who knows? Some people believe it may go to like 400. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say about 390, maybe a little higher, so somewhere around here before the next big move. But notice what this trend is telling us. If we establish a lower high here, because remember, the highs we were forming were like at 410, 408 before. We're not going back there. We're not going to 410 again. We are likely going to establish a lower high. And then this opens the door for another impulse wave perspective. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We could draw this out like this. I'm going to try to not make these overlap, by the way, but we formed kind of like a 1 right here. This whole move could have just been a 1. The whole drop we had to 374. Then we form a 2 up here, where we formed the new top that's actually lower than the previous one. Then the 3 is going to be the big drop, and I believe that's what's likely going to happen, followed by the 4 and then the 5. I'm going to readjust these. Give me 1 second. But it's very likely the market's going to make a move like this. And I believe, I know you don't like to hear this, but it's the truth, or at least it's what I believe is likely to happen. I don't like to BS anything. The 3 is going to be a big drop, a huge one. Who knows how low we're going to go? There's going to be another rebound. It's going to be a temporary relief rally, a small one. And then the 5 is going to be the final crash. And this may take the market, in my opinion, between 320 and 340, more likely between 330 and 320. This could be the final bottom. Who knows how long it's going to take? It doesn't have to end on like February 8th. It could come earlier, it could come a little later. We do have an FOMC meeting around January 31st, so that could be the thing that triggers the reversal. Who knows? But that's my point. There's likely going to be a lot more downside to come. And these two perspectives I showed you, these two sequences, form this giant 1-2 like formation. So what I could do is remember the sequence. I had the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. I could delete these now, all right, just like this. And now you could quite clearly see what is likely about to happen in this market, right? We don't crash in a straight line. Never has SPY ever done that. No matter how bad, you know, the perspective is, the economy, and etc. We tend to see these bounces. We tend to fall in waves, and I believe that this is what the chart is suggesting. We're going to see a move very similar to this, and there is going to be more downside to come later on. But before that, we do have this potential rally after we did see this nice divergence on the MACD, and also this divergence. I think the RSI formed it too. I'm going to show you that maybe a little later, some other time, but that's my point. There's going to be a small rally, most likely, to start off 2023. This is similar to what happened in the start of 2023. I'm sorry, the start of 2022 of this year. And maybe by the time you're watching this video, it's going to be 2023. So I want to wish everyone a happy new year, of course. I'm going to make another video about that. But just to give you guys more perspective, just remember that when we started off 2022, what did the market do? The market came down a bit as we approached December 31st. SPY dropped to about 466. Then we had a rally to about 472, forming the all-time high, right? For the first week of January, we had the big push-up, followed by a big drop. And remember, how we perform in January tends to be a reflection of how the market is going to perform for the majority of the year. We had a pretty bad January 2022, and for the remainder of the year, the market was just in this bear trend, this big downtrend. We are going to likely see a repeat of this maybe for 2023, except we might see the final bottom and the recovery phase. All right. So please be ready for that. What am I saying about Tesla? I'm going to be concerned when we start to see the market come down pretty hard by the second week of January going into like maybe February or so. If the market's crashing this hard, it may have a negative effect on Tesla. But before the big crash comes, I don't want to focus on that because I don't see us crashing yet. I believe we're going to see some relief. I believe the first week of 2023 is going to be bullish. And I believe this could help Tesla push up even harder. I believe that's going to play a big role. I mean, if you look at this from a technical standpoint, it looks super oversold. I don't even have to show you guys the RSI, but it just got beat so hard, and it still is under 30 on the RSI on the daily. So it has a lot of room to push up. It really does. Will it depend on deliveries? Sure. It depends on the annual report, of course. But like I said before, the high short interest, excuse me, that could help Tesla squeeze harder. And if the overall market is in this uptrend, like I'm mentioning on SPY, this second wave from the Elliott wave perspective, if this is what's playing out, this could help the whole market start to pump to start off 2023 temporarily. This could help Tesla pump even harder. And we could see Tesla. I mean, I'm not going to make any promises about the price, but if it breaks this resistance right here, this 125 to 126 resistance, we could quite easily see it hit 130, then 136, maybe even 140. Who knows? It could just continue to start filling the gaps up there. I think we have a gap around 137 or so. It could start to squeeze. It really could, and the market could help it. So, anyways, guys, I want to thank you all so much for listening. Remember, the market's going to be closed on Monday. We're going to be reopening on Tuesday. All right. So please enjoy the weekend. I will release another video tomorrow. The new year is almost here. It's currently New Year's Eve where I am. I hope you guys are enjoying your time. I mean, I really enjoyed it yesterday by watching Avatar 2. And I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and just know that there is a lot of potential for Tesla. But we have to wait for deliveries, of course. If Tesla ends up pumping off that report, it has a lot of potential to make a big move to the upside. All right. It really is there. Not just because of Tesla, but because of how shorted it is, and also because of the overall market. The collective market does still have an effect on Tesla, believe it or not. So, anyways, thank you all for listening. Have a great rest of the day. Remain calm, cool, and collected. Enjoy the weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Tesla to the moon, because the long-term future is still incredibly bright. And peace out.